During Trump's speech at a Pennsylvania rally yesterday, he claimed that the New York Times was losing readers, which is not true. And he was happy about that, quote, because they truly are the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of the people. They tell false stories about me. That's all they do is they write false stories, end quote. The crowd cheered, and many turned to the press area and gave the thumbs down salute to the journalist present at the rally. A few minutes after Trump called journalists the enemies of the people, a Trump supporter stormed the media section. Trump was apparently watching the incident unfold and said, quote, beautiful, he's on our side, end quote. Note that Trump, as always, does not identify the allegedly false stories about him published in the New York Times or anywhere else, for that matter, and then offer a factual rebuttal to the allegedly false information in those stories. Trump has proven, beyond any doubt, that it is unnecessary to identify, let alone rebut with accurate information, any of the stories written about him. For tens of millions of voters who live in a free society where accurate information is readily available to anyone who wants to look, Trump has realized that it is only necessary for him to attach a label, like fake news or enemy of the people, and tens of millions will disregard the accurate information supplied by those media organizations, avoid all contact with it, and ignore any factual information on the rare occasion that they accidentally come into contact with it after making a conscious effort to avoid any contact with the information whatsoever. Trump is a serial liar who has successfully manipulated tens of millions of voters with false statements and narratives. And part of that success is attributable to labeling or simply just labeling the media as fake news or enemies of the people. Calling the media enemy of the people, which Trump has repeatedly done for over a decade now, is just one aspect of his obvious authoritarian and demagogic playbook, possibly learned by his study earlier in life of Hitler's speeches. His first wife claimed that Trump kept a copy of Hitler's speeches near their bed. Marty Davis, an executive from Paramount, acknowledged that he gave a copy of the book, quote, My New Order, end quote, that contained copies of Hitler's speeches to Trump. Similar tactics were used by the Nazis in the 1930s, who would label the press Lügenpresse, which is German for lying press. Enemy of the people is a common phrase that has been used in the past to describe those who are disfavored by authoritarians and was a phrase commonly used in Nazi Germany and during Stalin's reign of terror in Russia. For both Trump and other authoritarian and political demagogues throughout modern history, the purpose of attacking the press in this manner is to turn people away from fact-based criticisms made by the media without actually factually rebutting any of those criticisms, to cause people to distrust or ignore accurate information presented in the media that are inconsistent with the false claims made by the authoritarian leader, and to accept without question the false statements and narratives made by the authoritarian leader as true. My thought is simply to ask a Trump supporter to identify a false claim made in the media about Trump and to provide accurate information proving its falsity. The Washington Post documented over 30,000 false and misleading statements made by Trump during his first term. Where is the proof that any of those classifications were wrong? Try finding a rebuttal on the internet. The same would be true of all the fact checks made of Trump's false claims since leaving office, and he has not slowed down in making those claims. Ask yourself, how is it possible When Trump has made false statements measured in the tens of thousands, how is it possible that people regard him as honest? It is only possible because Trump has been completely successful in turning them away from accurate information. And that success undermines one of the pillars of American democracy, and that is his objective. The same result is present in Putin's Russia, but at least those citizens who support Putin and accept his false statements and narratives as true at least have an excuse that Americans do not have. Access to facts is actively prevented by the Orwellian state created by Russia's dictator. Accurate information is still available to anyone willing to look for it in the United States, but many will not even try anymore.